In Affinity Photo 2.4, you can create all kinds of amazing designs from a very basic shape, something as simple as a circle. This is how PC or Mac. Go to the Tools panel and then select the Ellipse tool. With the ellipse, click Document and drag, hold down and Shift so you get a circle. Once you've done that, go up here to the Fill. Just click here and you've got Colour, you've got Gradient and you've got Swatches. I suggest go to Swatches and select something that's really colourful. Maybe something like this one. So just select something like that. Now the gradients you've got will probably be different, but you should have a reasonable selection of colourful gradients. You can select another one maybe, something like that. So this means that the designs you create at the end will be very different just depending on your start point. Key thing is to make certain it's, let's just go to here's a gradient, make certain it's a linear one. So here is linear. Next thing to do, apply an effect. Now you can apply all kinds of effects. I'm just going to go with filters and down here to distort and twirl. So twirl, and with twirl, it will twirl that design. That's why I've gone for the linear, it creates these lovely lines. And of course you can change the settings, maybe go angle 720, push it to the max, radius 1024. And you can also vary the origin point as well inside that circle. But I'm going to go with that. Click apply. Then go to the move tool and then press return or enter on your keyboard. And that brings up the move and duplicate panel. Now this is in 2.4. And what it means is you can duplicate this design multiple times very quickly. Now, of course, you can do that manually. Perfectly reasonable. Just duplicate the design over and over again. But this just makes it so much easier. Also, once you've done that, you can then change this, the rotation. So I'm just going to make it slightly there, but it just rotates that single design. But copies 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Of course, at this point, you can't see any change. You need to go to layers. And you can try out a number of layers. Go through and maybe go with, say, difference. And the result could be something like that. Or maybe negation. Now, some work better than others. You might decide have less as well. Number of copies, the more you have, the more it sort of like looks unusual. Maybe go with lighten. Or screen. Sometimes that's not so good. But just select one. Or if you think it's just gone too far, just reduce the number of copies down a bit. And again, just change it, maybe go with difference. I'm going to go with that and click OK. But you can see literally thousands of possible designs can be created. And of course, you can always go here to the layers and just change the blending mode. Just change them here. Just make them different and just run through, maybe use overlay for one, difference for another one. So with this design now, what I want to do is select all of these layers. So select them all selected. And now I can right click and go group. So it groups them all into a single group, which I can now rasterize. So layer and go down here to rasterize. You need to be grouped. Otherwise you'd end up with multiple copies of those, which is fine. But what I want is this whole design to be one layer. So rasterize, and now you've got one single pixel layer. You could, of course, end at this point and use this design maybe for your pattern designs, etc. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to distort this a bit more. I'm just going to resize it just slightly, just create a bit smaller and go to filters and make certain you go distort and deform. And the key thing is also make certain you've got the move tool selected here. If it's the hand tool or some other tool, sometimes this deform doesn't seem to work well. And you can add pins. So you just click there and you add multiple pins, just try it. Just all kinds of different unique distortions can create it. So just drag and you can distort it there. You can also click outside and that will add some lovely little holes there. Click there and drag in, click there, drag in, and so on. You can do it multiple times, distort the design in all kinds of ways. And what I want is this sort of like crunched in design. So like sort of feeding in inwards. So just click there and again, just push it in, but not go all the way because you end up hole inside. So just push it to about that point. Likewise, oops, I don't want that one. And you can see you can create some very truly weird shapes. Again, click there and apply. Once you've got that, you can go with just that design. But you can also use the move duplicate again. So press return or enter on your keyboard with the move tool, and it will display a panel that you can then change the number of copies, as well as the number of various things like the scale and rotation. Also, you can go to the layers panel and change the blending mode for that design. I'm going to go with not overlay, but maybe difference. Now difference, again, move tool, press return or enter, and now go over here, number of copies. So on duplicate on, number of copies, just increase that. And then also rotation. Now sometimes, because of the colours, it just doesn't look great. Personally, I don't think that looks very good. Maybe I might decide, you know what, I'm just going to go with normal. I think normal in this case probably looks better. So number of copies, just increase that again, maybe 5, 6, 7. And you can see as you change that, you can get obviously a really lovely, wonderful sort of contour-like design like that. And of course you can change horizontal as well. You maybe go like that to create design like that. That's another option. Or maybe vertical. Don't have to keep it on top. You can also, of course, scale it as well to create design like that. Well, once you're happy with your design, I'm going to go with that now. Click OK. All that happens creates multiple layers. And again, you can group them if you want. Just go over here and select them all. And then right click and group. And you can rasterize it. So layer and go down here to rasterize. Once that's done, what you can now do is you can use this as a pattern design. So layer, new pattern layer from selection, and you can see you get that sort of design. But I'm going to undo because what I want is just this area here. So go over here and I can use the rectangular marquee tool or any other selection. You don't have to, but rectangular marquee tool, select that. And I'm just going to select a particular area. Now you can change your mind, maybe go for that area, just that little selection. Then go to layer and new pattern layer from selection. And you can see you get that. Also, if you go to the move tool, and there you can see that layer selected. With that, you can move it around. You can also go up here and you've got options for mirror. And you get a design like that. And you can, of course, resize it a bit. You don't want to push it too far. You can resize it a bit. You can rotate it. So you can see it creates some really weird and wonderful LUSH designs very quickly using just this very basic design, simply that's been repeated in using that move tool. Well, now what you can do, you can also duplicate this layer. You could, of course, press return or enter, bring up this panel, and then you could use this and maybe use different blend modes. But another option, just as easy, maybe just keep it very simple. Hold down the Alt Option key and drag. And you've got another pattern. Then go up here to blend modes and go for maybe difference, which doesn't look very nice, but maybe lighten. And again, you don't have to keep them the same. You can resize that, move it around backwards and forwards until you're happy with the design you get. Say something like that. Of course, once you've got that, you might decide, yes, that's the design I love. Select them all. Then go to, again, layer and go down to merge selected. So merge selected, they all become one pixel layer. You might like to go to filters and then down to colors and maybe auto levels. Sometimes I think that brings out something special in design. You don't have to keep that, of course. Maybe go over here and use some of the tone mappings or other personas to create even more unusual designs. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Like or dislike, always appreciated. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Bye.